This is just a very quick video because I was doing some research today and I discovered something pretty interesting, so I thought I'd share it with you. So I'm on Google Earth. This is Google Earth Pro, and I'm using Google Earth Pro because you've got a lot more advanced features here. It does run like piss sometimes, but it's good. So I'm going to go here into East London. So I'm just going to go in here. So if you're very good with your London Railway knowledge, you might know that what's now the North London line on the Overground used to be its own railway operator. For those of the uneducated, the Northern Line, the not Northern Line, the North London line is the bit that runs from Richmond to Stratford on the Overground via Gospel Oak. There's also the bit that goes to Clapham, but we're going to focus on Richmond to Stratford. So currently trains terminate at Stratford. We're going to go into Stratford here. Apologies, this is a bit kind of slow because it's Google Earth Pro. On their own platform, I believe. Here, yeah, trains terminate here at Stratford. But if you look at an old tube map, a map published right until about 2005, you'll note that the line kept going from Stratford and went all the way to North Woolwich. Well, you can still see some of that line today, and actually quite a lot of it is still in use. Just quickly before we get into that, the North London line also did have a London terminus in the centre. It was called Broad Street. It was right next door to Liverpool Street, which I believe this is Liverpool Street here. I have to turn my... This is really slow. There we go. So this is Liverpool Street here. So if you ever get the train up to Essex or get the Overground up to Chingford, this is where you'd get the train from. So I believe there's a building somewhere around here on Bishopsgate. Maybe this building here. This site here used to be Broad Street Station, which was the terminus. It was like the city terminus of the North London line. I believe it was actually there first. And you can see this here. This line here is the Overground. This is Shoreditch High Street. And then I think down here, right here, was Shoreditch on the old East London line. We're not going to talk about that, but that's pretty common knowledge these days. But here, you'll note the Overground. It goes over it comes off the old East London line, just after Whitechapel, which is about here, I think. Comes up here, and then it's still in the cutting, but then it goes up and goes over a new bridge. The old line just went into here. And then Shoreditch High Street, and then it carries on up to, I believe it's Hoxton. I'm just going to turn on, I don't know where you can turn on tube station icons. I don't think you can turn that on. It's a bit annoying. I think this is Hoxton, or Haggerston. I think that's Hoxton. Yeah, Hoxton. It goes up to Hoxton. But the line from Dalston Junction, which is just up here, I think, came down here and went into Broad Street. And there was an old Shoreditch station, which is located somewhere around here, I think, so not too far away from the Shoreditch area. And there was a viaduct that linked it with Broad Street. And you can tell where this viaduct is. If you're just beside Broadgate Tower, which I believe is this building here, there's these what look like train carriages. These are old 1983 Jubilee Line stock, I believe. This was part of the old viaduct, which linked Hoxton to Broad Street. So you can see here, the line's kind of on a newish alignment. The track's a bit wider. It was clearly a longer track railway. And then if I follow down here, imagine all these buildings are here. So these have all been built over. And Broad Street was right here. So that's that little spur, because further beyond, up to Dalston Junction. If you've seen Londonist Secrets of the Overground, don't know which part, I think it's part 1, they told you about the East Curve, which was this track here, which allowed trains that was coming up from Dalston or Broad Street up and head towards Hackney, I'm assuming head out towards Woolwich. There is a small part of the North London line which I believe is now used by the DLR, which is this bit here, which is like Langdon Park, All Saints, Bowchurch. I believe this was it, and it went down to Canary Wharf area, what was a dock area at the time. So it kind of goes down here. But I believe that was temporarily used. I think the North London line train stopped running there. So the North London line came out here. So this is Hackney Wick right here, and it came out here, came through what's now the Olympic Park, and well, the current terminus is Stratford. But it went further than that to Woolwich, and you're thinking, hang on a second, where's the old alignment? Well, this is why I'm using Google Earth Pro, because we can turn back time. So I'm going to go back to, it's a bit too far, okay, 1999. So this is when they just built the brand new tube station here, Stratford. Well, I say brand new, the tube had been there for years, but the Jubilee line had just been built, so you got the new station here, and you got the big depot. Yeah, there's some trains in there. This is September the 9th, and for some reason they're already building Stratford International, which is odd, so I don't know whether this is actually 1999, but look at how different this is. The Olympic Stadium's here. Like, whoa, they've done a lot of work. But this track here, if you ride on the DLR quite a lot, up to Stratford International, you'll think, hang on a second, this is that's the line. And yes, this is, I think, a freight line that goes up there. But if you look, this is all where Westfield is now. There's this piece of track here. So North London Line trains would come out of Hackney Wick, and instead of following the main line here into Stratford, they would go along this track here, which I believe is now the DLR, was repurposed, and then would stop here, what's now the Stratford International branch of the DLR. And you can actually see, I think, a train in on these platforms right next door to the Jubilee line. And this is the DLR alignment down to Canning Town. So I think this is where Stratford High Street is. There's not much here. There's no Star Lane, no Abbey Road. Stopped here at West Ham. So it's basically stopping at the same stops that the Jubilee line did. This is clearly just after it opened. As you can see, there's West Ham, and you follow down here. I think Star Lane's around here. And then you get down here. Sorry, that's my computer going a bit crazy because it doesn't really like this. Come on. And we're here at Canning Town. So at Canning Town, if you use Canning Town quite a lot, you may think, why is there two levels of DLR platforms? Well, Canning Town's quite a complicated station. So it was going to be originally built with just the DLR North London Line interchange, but then of course they built the Jubilee line and they had to build these platforms. So these platforms here, this upper bit is the DLR going to Beckton. And then these platforms where you can just see a train there is the Jubilee line. But these platforms here, which are now the Stratford International branch going down to Woolwich, this was the North London line. So the North London line was here. Now normally the line, it wasn't built yet, so I'm going to turn this off. If you can see here, DLR coming out of those platforms, it comes onto this track and then heads towards Pontoon Dock, or West Silvertown. I can't remember what stops first. But if you look here, back to 1999, you'll see that the track from those platforms, it curves this way. And then here, it stops here at Custom House at two platforms. And of course you have, I believe, the XL. So the XL, I think, was brand new. It stops here at Custom House. I believe it's Custom House. This might be another station. This is definitely, okay, this is Custom House here. Now, if any of you have been following the Crossrail project, you might be thinking, hang on a second, this looks familiar. We'll get onto that in a second. Again, look, there's a train. If you go down here, so you can see, I don't know what stop this is. This is, I think, another DLR stop. But look, it goes into a tunnel. Yeah, this is the DLR heading out to Beckton. I think that is, I don't know what station that is. I think this might be, I don't know what station. But it goes into a tunnel and goes underneath here, London City Airport. And it comes out, this little cutting here, and then stopped right, I think just after it came out the tunnel. I think it comes on a little bit longer, if I remember correctly. Oh no, we've gone a bit too far. Right around here, I believe, if you can try and see the platforms here, is the old Silvertown, or maybe West Silvertown, but Silvertown station. I believe that's now, I think that was closed when they rebuilt the line. And then that headed on here, all the way down here, and then it reached here, the terminus at North Woolwich. I think North Woolwich, well, something Woolwich. And that was the terminus, right here. And if I turn this off, so we've now looked at the route on an old map, you'll see this bit here down to North Woolwich is all overground. I think this has been disused since about 2005 when they rerouted the line. But look, this track here has been doubled up. The old Silvertown station's kind of gone. It's now being reused. This is what the old Crossrail alignment will be. So that if you're travelling on the future Crossrail or Elizabeth line, if you come out Canary Wharf, you're going to come out here, you're going to go up to Custom House, you're going to come above ground for Custom House, then you're going to go through the old North London Line tunnel, right here, and then you're going to go into a new tunnel. So it's going along the old tracks, but then it dives under while you can still see there's like some construction equipment. So before the Woolwich, and then you're going to go down to Abbey Wood. So yeah, that's the secret little North London Line bit. I really hope you enjoyed this kind of video. This is just a little experiment. I was just curious, and I didn't want to make a really long video about this. This is probably already about 10 minutes long. Anyway, please like, subscribe, and peace.